47% who feel entitled to certain benefits aren't paying income taxes. Your reaction to that, and also if you have any reactions to what the Federal Reserve is doing under Ben Bernanke, printing money down in the basement, glad to take calls on that. But particularly I want to get responses to what Governor Romney had to say. And here is Governor Romney last night. This is clip number 2. 888-589-8840 is the number to call if you want to weigh in on that. 888-589-8840. Here's Governor Romney last night after this whole thing blew up. He said 47% of the American people are not paying any income taxes. They feel entitled to certain benefits. They feel entitled to the redistribution of wealth. And Governor Romney saying, look, I don't think I can get their vote. And I think he's wrong about that. I think a conservative message is not just for 53% of the American people. The conservative message is for 100% of the American people. You know, I know people personally that are dependent for 100% of their living expenses on government largesse, and it is a dismal, dreary, abysmal existence that they live. They are barely scraping by. I would not wish that kind of lifestyle on my worst enemy. People are capable of better than that, and this is the message I believe the conservatives have for the 47%. We believe you want your slice of the American dream. We want to protect your right to the pursuit of happiness. We want to get government out of the way so government can grow for you, so your standard of living can improve and increase in the standard of living for your family. And by the way, if you happen to pick up a tax liability on the way, we think you're going to be okay with that. You'll trade that for the increase in the standard of living, for being able to get your slice of American prosperity. You'll be willing to take on a tax burden in order to get your piece of the American dream. That's the message I think that conservatives have, and I'd like to hear Governor Romney sending that message. But here's Governor Romney last night responding to the blowback over his comments. Let's listen.
The president and I have very different approaches to the future of America and what it takes to ignite our economy and put people back to work. The president believes in what I've described as a government-centered society, where government plays a larger and larger role, provides for more and more of the needs of individuals. And I happen to believe instead in a free enterprise, free individual society, where people pursuing their dreams are able to employ one another, build enterprises, build the strongest economy in the world. I happen to believe that my approach is the approach that will put 23 million people back to work again. We've watched the results of the president's approach over the last 3.5, 4 years, and his government-centric, larger and larger government approach has meant that we have 15 million more people on food stamps, 23 million people out of work or stopped looking for work or underemployed. We have had 43 straight months with unemployment above 8%. And my view is that the right approach for our nation is not to adopt a government-centered approach, but instead a free people, free enterprise, free market, consumer-driven approach.
And I think Governor Romney is exactly right about that. That's the contrasting vision between the Ryan-Romney plan, or the Romney-Ryan plan, whichever way you want to call it, and President Obama's plan. Now, the media has been getting all over Mitt Romney. They're going to hang this like an anvil about his neck for his disregard for 47% of the American people, his attitude of elitism and superiority, his disconnect with average, ordinary Americans. But I want to take you back, and Jeff, this is this is audio clip A7. We don't have video on this because there's no video, but this is Barack Obama back in 2008. He also was caught in an unguarded moment, and if the left is saying, hey, what Governor Romney said, that wasn't a gaffe, that's what he really thinks, then let's have them make the same assessment about what Barack Obama said in 2008. Let's listen.
You go into some of these small towns in Pennsylvania, like a lot of small towns in the Midwest, the jobs have been gone now for 25 years and nothing's replaced it. And they've gone through the Clinton administration and the Bush administration, and each successive administration has said that somehow these communities are going to regenerate, and they have not. So it's not surprising then that they get better and they cling to guns or religion or antipathy towards people who aren't like them. Right?
So that's Barack Obama. I mean, you talk about an elitist, arrogant attitude. These people are bitter. They cling to their guns. They cling to their religion. They dislike anybody who is not like them. That's basically an accusation of racism on the part of Barack Obama. Sounds pretty elitist and out of touch to me if you ask me that question. Now, Jay Carney, this is A10, Jeff. Jay Carney, the president's spokesman, he responded back in 2008 when Senator Obama, he wasn't president yet, Senator Obama made the bitter clingers comment, and here's what Jay Carney, who is today the hack for Barack Obama, here's what he had to say about President Obama's statement back in 2008. Let's listen.
During the 2008 election, he said that rural voters, quote, get bitter, they cling to their guns or religion. How is Mr. Romney's comments any different from what the president said?
I think that happened 4 years ago and was discussed in abundance at the time.
That's Carney today.
Look, he's got problems, and he's exposed a huge weakness in this past week with his comments about small-town Pennsylvanians, because it reinforces a perception that he's urban and urbane, but not particularly well connected to small-town America, working-class Americans. And this is not a deal killer, and if Hillary Clinton does not win Pennsylvania going away, I think it's put to rest for a while, but it will come back, and it will come back fiercely in the fall election.
That's Jay Carney. He was a reporter, 2008. He's a reporter. He says, man, this just shows Obama is completely disconnected from ordinary Americans. So Chuck Todd, this is clip 3, Amy. Chuck Todd asked Stephanie Cutter, who is the Obama spokesman today, look, how is what Obama said in 2008, how's that any different than what Romney said yesterday? And see if you can make, I want to see if you can make any sense whatsoever out of what Stephanie Cutter says. I want you to listen carefully. And Jeff, let's have soundbite A2. Let's have that one ready to go. You know the one I'm talking about. After we listen to Stephanie Cutter, I want Jeff to play our audio soundbite number 2. So see if you can make any sense out of this whatsoever. Stephanie Cutter responded to Chuck Todd. Let's listen.
And Stephanie, let me ask you what is the difference? Do you believe there's much difference between what candidate Obama got caught saying at a fundraiser when it looked like he was sort of defining one part of the Republican base and explaining away why these folks would never be supportive of him, and what Mitt Romney was doing?
Well, Chuck, he was saying the exact opposite of what Mitt Romney was saying. He was talking about how, you know, some people get frustrated by their circumstances and react to that, and that we need to bring everybody together and talk to everybody about how we're going to strengthen middle-class security. Mitt Romney was saying the exact opposite.
Oh, he's saying the exact opposite. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me that what she's saying there is that Obama was saying the exact opposite. Did you hear anything of what Barack Obama said about reaching out, bringing everybody together, and talking to everybody about how we're going to strengthen the middle class? There wasn't anything about that in Barack Obama's statement. They're bitter, they're clingers, they're outdated, they're antiquated. And here's what I think about what Stephanie Cutter had to say.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Carl in Princeton, West Virginia. Carl, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Brian, I'm one of those Christian gun clingers, so I was going to let you know that front.
You and me, baby. You proud, bitter clingers right here, baby.
Brian, the Federal Reserve has never made a move like this so close to an election day since before FDR or sometime about in that time. So it's got to be politically motivated. There's no getting around that. And secondly, the Federal Reserve was established under the control of Congress. So when did they grow independent legs, and where is our Congress to control them?
Well, you know, that's a really good point. It was created in 1913 by the Congress, and now it just seems to be this standalone, completely independent agency that's not accountable to anyone for anything.
That happen?
Yeah, well, that's a great observation. All right, Carl, listen, I appreciate that. And you hang on to your gun in one hand and your Bible in the other, and I will do the same. Let's go to David in Charlotte, North Carolina. David, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Hey, enjoy your show. And
Thank you.
I'm one of the 47%. I'm a disabled vet. I've worked 30 years. I'm in an area that has 13% unemployment, and I will not vote for Obama or the Democrats
And tell me why. I'm curious. Tell me why you will not vote for Obama, even though you are one of the 47%.
I cannot support abortion or homosexual marriage, which Obama and the Democrats support. I will not, or refuse not. I will not, never vote for that, ever.
Now, let me ask you this question, David. If Barack Obama was pro-life and he was pro-marriage, would you vote for him?
With Obamacare and the way he's treating the churches, no.
Okay, that's interesting to me. All right, David, listen, I appreciate that call very much. And that's a very significant call from David, because here's a guy that's saying, look, right now I am benefiting from these government programs, but to me, the values issues are far more important. The issue of the sanctity of life, sanctity of marriage, government intrusion into the whole healthcare life of America, those things matter more to me than making sure I get some bigger slice of the government pie. One last call. Let's go to Charlie, Victoria, Texas. Charlie, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. Got about 30 seconds. What's on your mind?
First of all, I got something on Facebook the other day. You know what you call a group of baboons?
What do you call them?
Congress.
All right, that's not too bad. So, all right, Charlie, I appreciate that. Thank you. You got a pride of lions, and you got a Congress of baboons. And Mark Twain was the one that said, there's no American right that's safe when Congress is in session, so perhaps we can be glad that they've gone home for the election holiday. You're listening to Focal Point on AFR Talk. We're going to be right back after the news. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Focal Point, AFR Talk.